Hello and welcome to anyone who's watching this video. This is just a brief video. Just something I've noticed about the material that new planes are made out of these days, which is ductile cast. A lot of manufacturers are now using ductile cast, which is somewhat different to the old grey cast that was used on planes. And what I have noticed is it's very prone to pitching, and pitching quite deeply and quite easily. I've tried to do some research on the difference between ordinary cast and ductile cast, and it's complicated for me to explain the differences. So it appears that the molecular structure of grey cast is more of flakes, and of ductile cast it's more of like beads. So the mechanical properties change in that cast will break, it's brittle and it'll break if you drop it. And ductile cast is stronger and has more of a tensile strength to it. Corrosion wise, ductile cast is supposed to be better than grey cast. So but by corrosion I think you're talking about it completely rotting away. We've all seen bits of iron where the surface is flaking off it with rust and maybe even holes appearing. From what I can gather, ductile cast is less likely to do that, but what it's more prone to, from what I can find about it, is pitting. So it actually pits easier than grey cast, but it corrodes less than grey cast. It's counterintuitive really. But this video is more it's a cautionary tale really about looking after your tools and having a nasty surprise if you've left your plane in the garage or workshop for a few weeks and you go back to it, or even a few months maybe, or you've left it in your van or work or something in a damp environment, or the amount of pitching you can get on ductile cast in a very short period of time is shocking. And the pits are deep. They're not something you can just rub off. They're actually well into the metal. So I don't know the actual structure of it, whether it's the pores in the steel, whether there's like microscopic holes in it and it rusts. I have a Nielsen here which is less than a year old. It's never been damp, it's never been in damp conditions. When I first got it, I degreased it and I waxed it with Renaissance wax, and it was getting towards the autumn time, so I thought I wouldn't take it to work because the weather was deteriorating. So I put it on the side in the house where it was warm and dry. There's low humidity. It should have stood without any rust. There was no rust on it as regards surface rust, but what has happened is pits have appeared in the bed. You can see them there. They're only small, but nonetheless they're there, and those are surprisingly deep. There's another small one forming by that one, the camera there. So it's something to be aware of. It's not something you can just rub off with a bit of sandpaper. They're actually into the metal. And you could I'm looking at second-hand tools on eBay and I'm seeing some relatively modern planes and hand tools made out of ductile casts that are absolutely horrendously pitted, and I think it's the nature of the material. I did also I picked this one up second hand, which is a Quansheng one, which is ductile steel, and this one, when I bought it, it had a line of dots across it, nearly full length, where it looked like it might have been lining its box or something, and it had rusted. It wasn't surface rust, but it was like a line of pitting. And at the time I bought it, I thought it should rub out quite easily, but it's not that simple. They are deep. There's one coming back now. There's one coming back which I just haven't catch the light on it. Let it focus. It doesn't want to focus now. Yeah, I can't quite. It's very small. I can't quite catch the light on it, but yeah, it's on the end of there roughly. So, but no, I can't get it to focus. But there is a very small pit there. You might just be able to see that now. That is along the original line of pitting. When I first got it, I thought I could just rub it off with a bit of fine sandpaper on a sheet of glass or something, but it soon became apparent that they were deep, and I had sort of given up hope of being able to remove it. But as it happened, ductile cast seems to be quite a lot softer when it comes to if you want to flat a bed, if you want to redress your bed and such like. It does seem to cut a lot easier than grey cast does. It feels to be softer somehow, more wearable. It does seem to mark easier as well, as regards scratching and cuts and things. So I did manage to get most of those out, but as I said, there's one that's returning, which I suspect the others might do shortly. So it's just this video, it's not really criticising anybody or any manufacturer for using that type of steel. I think it's just, I don't know why they use it. I mean, these Stanley ones are made out of the same stuff. And the low angle, they're all ductile cast. It's just to make people aware that you can get absolutely devastating pitting in a very short space of time. So the Lee Nielsen, I deboxed it, degreased it, and treated it with Renaissance wax, and it had remained in the house warm and dry with low humidity, and yet the pits had still appeared. I've now started using this one at work, but what seems to work best is just to spray it with WD-40. Just keep them coated in WD-40. When you finish with them at the end of the day, just spray some WD-40 on them, and then when you go back to use them, just wipe it off. But it's just something I've noticed, and if you're looking at second-hand ones on the internet and you see pitting on, you might actually be surprised when you get hold of it that it's deeper than you think. It's not that easy to cut it out, and this video is just to give you just a cautionary tale that if you have a modern plane that's in ductile cast, it needs to be looked after more than the old cast ones, because although they'll go rusty looking and they might go red rusty, it's only on the surface, and any pitching that gets into them takes a long time to get that deep pitching into them. Whereas the ductile cast ones don't appear to surface rust much, but they pitch straight away. So I hope that it might help somebody with not getting caught out as I've been caught out with a plane rusting a lot faster than you'd anticipate, and maybe your pride and joy, which was pristine, you left in the garage a few weeks ago, you go back and it's got pits all over it. So I hope it's a short video. I hope it's of use to somebody, and thank you for watching and take care.